Emily never imagined that love could turn into a weapon. For 5 years, she believed she knew Daniel, the man who held her hand at school meetings, who kissed her forehead when the children slept, who promised a future stitched together with loyalty and care. She believed him because belief was easier than doubt, and because she wanted her children to grow up in a home that felt whole. Daniel wasn't the children's biological father, but he had stepped into their lives with practiced warmth. 8-year-old Noah adored him. 4-year-old Lily followed him everywhere like a shadow. Daniel had learned their routines, their fears, their favorite bedtime stories. He knew how to smile in front of neighbors and how to speak gently when it mattered. He knew how to look like a good man. But behind that smile, something had been breaking for a long time. Emily first noticed the distance in small ways. Daniel guarding his phone like a secret diary. Coming home late with excuses that sounded rehearsed. The way his eyes slid away when she asked simple questions. She told herself she was imagining things. Life was stressful. Money was tight. People changed. Love adjusted. The truth announced itself one rainy afternoon, when Emily went to surprise Daniel. At work with lunch, she found his car parked behind a cafe across the street. Fogged windows betraying an intimacy that made her stomach twist. She didn't need to see much. Just enough to know that the woman beside him wasn't a colleague, wasn't a friend, wasn't anyone Emily had ever met. That night, Daniel didn't deny it. He didn't beg. He didn't cry. It didn't mean anything, he said coldly, as if the words were a shield. You're overreacting. Emily felt something inside her harden. Not anger, clarity. It meant enough to destroy us, she replied quietly. She told him to leave. Daniel laughed then, a sharp, unfamiliar sound. You think you can just throw me out? I'm asking you to go, Emily said, her voice shaking but steady. For the children. The mention of the children changed his expression. Something dark flickered behind his eyes, gone as quickly as it came. Fine, he said. You'll regret this. 4 weeks after he left, Emily lived in a state of nervous adjustment. She changed the locks. She avoided places they used to go together. She focused on Noah's homework and Lily's laughter, telling herself that this was what strength looked like, moving forward. Even when your heart felt bruised. Daniel didn't disappear. He hovered at the edges of her life like a storm cloud. He sent messages at odd hours, swinging wildly between apologies and accusations. When Emily didn't respond, his words grew sharper. You're turning them against me. I gave you everything. You'll be sorry. Emily saved the messages. She trusted her instincts now. One evening, Daniel showed up unannounced. The children were coloring at the kitchen table when the knock came. Slow. Deliberate. Emily's pulse spiked. She told the kids to stay, and opened the door just enough to see his face. I just want to talk, he said softly. There's nothing to talk about, Emily replied. Please leave. Daniel's eyes flicked past her toward the children. I miss them. You lost that right, she said. Go. His jaw tightened. For a moment, Emily thought he might force his way in. Instead, he stepped back, raising his hands in mock surrender. This isn't over, he said calmly. Too calmly. That night, Emily barely slept. The attack came weeks later, on a night that began like any other. Dinner dishes stacked in the sink. Lily fell asleep on the couch. Noah asked for one more chapter before bed. Emily tucked them in, kissed their foreheads, and whispered promises she hoped she could keep. She didn't hear Daniel enter the house. The first sound was the creak of a floorboard. Emily froze, her heart hammering. Before she could reach her phone, Daniel stepped into the hallway, his face pale, eyes wild. You ruined my life, he said. Get out, Emily whispered, positioning herself in front of Noah's door. Please. You took everything from me, he continued, ignoring her plea. If I can't have it, no one will. The knife in his hand caught the light. Time fractured into sharp, terrifying moments. Emily screamed. She ran. Daniel lunged. Chaos filled the hallway, crashing sounds. Noah's terrified cries, Lily waking in confusion. Daniel's plan was simple and horrifying. Erase the life he no longer controlled. But plans don't always survive reality. Emily fought with a ferocity she didn't know she possessed. She shoved Daniel away from Noah, taking the blade's edge across her arm. Pain exploded, but she didn't stop. She screamed for Noah to run. She grabbed a lamp and swung with all her strength. Daniel staggered, enraged. He turned toward Lily's room, and something primal tore through Emily's fear. She tackled him. They crashed into the wall, the knife skittering across the floor. Daniel struck her, but footsteps thundered above them. Noah, brave and terrified, running for help just as Emily had shouted. Sirens wailed in the distance. Daniel fled. When the police arrived, they found Emily bleeding but alive, Lily unharmed, and Noah shaking but unbroken. Daniel was arrested hours later, hiding in a cheap motel, his hands still stained with what he had tried to do. The trial was brutal. Emily testified with scars still healing, her voice steady despite the memories clawing at her chest. The messages, the threats, the broken doorframe, everything laid bare. Daniel sat stone-faced, offering no remorse. The verdict was swift. Guilty. Daniel was sentenced to decades behind bars. The judge's words echoed through the courtroom like a final door slamming shut. Afterward, life didn't magically heal. Trauma doesn't vanish just because justice is served. Noah had nightmares. Lily flinched at loud noises. Emily attended therapy, learning that survival was a process, not a single moment of victory.